In this video, we'll try to use the energy approach to solve some sample question. If you want to try yourself, pause the video now and try it, or else you can follow me through step by step and try, say, the first question here. So first of all, let's try to understand what happened. It said there's a block, so now you know it's mass m moving through the rough horizontal surface. So maybe you can draw something like this and moving through forward, and you know the initial speed, which is u. You know the final speed v is actually 0 because it comes to rest after traveling through 16 meters. Determine the friction, so you want to find the frictional force. So this is the basic from the question, but more importantly, the new thing here is you have to realize, so the beginning is when the box started to move, or moving I should say, and at the end is when the box come to rest. So what kind of energy would involve at these two times? So first of all, when it is moving at the beginning, there will be Ke, nothing else. And at the end, the Ke will actually be gone because you know the V is 0. Or you can still say, you can claim there is still 8 Ke, but then the Ke will become 0. So where would it be for those missing Ke then? The answer will obviously be the friction. So therefore, like at the end, not only the Ke will be 0, at the same time, those energy from Ke will be transferred to the work done against friction. So the equation, according to what you learned about energy conservation, because energy can only be transformed to one to another instead of be created or destroyed. So then you can write that the Ke will simply equals to the work done against friction. So using the equation that generally will be half mv squared equals to force times the distance. So just substitute what you have, 2.5, v is 8.6. Don't forget the square. Force will be the unknown f, lowercase f for friction. S will be 16. So at the end, using your calculator, you should be able to find the answer. That is 5.778125, right? And you should run it up to 2 sec fig. Yeah, it should be 2 sec fig, so 5.8 Newton. Let's try the next question. If you want some hint, stay for a while and I'll tell you some hints. If not, you may want to pause the video now and try it out yourself. Okay, so here's a hint. You really have to figure out clearly that what kind of energies were involved in this motion. So first of all, when the box started to move, there should be, of course, Ke, and there should probably nothing else because it's at a lower position. You can claim that there is GPE, but then apparently, like later on, you know there must be GPE when it's high up here. So those energy convert to GPE, and then this GPE is more like 0 in that case. So if you like to say it, that's fine. But then for simplicity, for myself, I would just say Ke, right? I would just say GPE is 0, taking reference to this point at 0. So when the box go up, there should be GPE. At the same time, because you know the spring is being compressed already, because the whole thing comes to rest, right? So that must be the greatest compression you can do by that time. So that would be elastic potential energy. The question is whether or not there is work done against friction, and the question said there's no friction already, so you don't have to consider that. So this will be the important information for you to set up the equation. Once you set up the equation correctly, you should be able to find the answer. So try yourself now.
A few moments later.
Okay, so here is the answer. Since the energy should be conserved, and therefore the Ke that you should have will be totally converted to GPE and EPE, and therefore the first line that you should draw, you should write, should be this one. Instead of just writing down this line directly, I would suggest you to put down Ke equal GPE plus EPE, and then you substitute to the equation that we proved in the previous video. And next is just very easy, just substitute all the numbers that you know, and luckily in this equation the only unknown is the compression that, or you can call it extension, and that is the question is asking. And so you should find the answer to be 0.52 meter. And you should see that the best thing about energy is that you don't have to care about what happened in the middle. So no matter the box, like what is the speed here, how much energy is left, it doesn't really matter, because energy, remember, is a scalar. So you don't have to care about the direction, you don't have to care about what happened in the middle. The next part of the question is asking you what if there is friction, and they tell you the length of the whole path as well. So you should reconsider what happened in the energy conservation, and this question should be easy. So pause the video and try it yourself.
Imagination.
Okay, so the difference is actually now you have the work done against friction. And the trickiest thing is whether or not you should add the work done, which of course equal to F times S, onto the left hand side of the equation or right hand side of the equation. And the answer is right hand side of the equation here. So together with GPE and EPE. There are some consideration here. First of all, you have to think about that the work done against friction is some sort of energy that you give out or give away to the nature. So you can take it this way. Imagine energy is like money. So say you have a certain amount of money as KE, and so gradually this money will change into some other thing, like when you go for say a theme park, you have to pay the entrance fee, and later on maybe you want to buy some drinks, etc. So those money will convert into something else. And here friction is also a way that those KE will be taken away as well. So that should be counted on the right hand side instead. So that's why the equation will be like this. The other thing that you may have thought about is if you remember the equation of work done against friction, F times S, is that they have to be in the parallel direction, right? Because if you are not having them parallel, then you have to take a cosine theta or something, right? And in this question, it's okay. You don't have to consider the cosine theta, because no matter where you are, say when the box is here, then the friction will be going in this direction to the left. So that is opposite to the movement, but still parallel. When you're on the tilt slanted slope, it will still be parallel, because when you're moving in this direction, it will be having an angle, but your friction will also be having an angle, same angle as well. Even though they're opposite, but they are still parallel. So you don't have to take any cosine or stuff. Okay, so in this case, your equation will just have a few changes compared to the previous one. That will be the work done, and so that's the only new thing that you got changed. Just be careful that this time you would not know the compression. You are given the distance and also the friction, then you can still calculate the whole thing again, and you should find 0.33 meter. Okay, so I think you now start to know how to do this kind of question. So let me just summarize general approach for you. So first thing that you want to do is, after reading the question, you want to visualize the situation, like what you do in mechanics in the other topics you learn also. The second thing is you have to consider the conservation of energy. So what kind of energy will be involving in different stages, so in stage 1, stage 2, or sometimes even in stage 3, between each of them. So what are the energies that are involved? And of course, after that will be very simple. Once you get these clear, then you can set up the equation, and the rest will be simple. Just substitute and you find the answer. So the most important thing I think would be the first two, visualize the whole thing, and realizing what energies are involved. Try to use this approach, do this question, pause the video now. Okay, so the question said there is a mass, so I'll still draw a box moving with a certain speed, so it must have KE at the beginning, and then it is acted upon by a force in the direction of velocity. So kind of, if I say the velocity is going this way, then you will have another force that is 55 Newton pushing in. So that will be an acceleration, of course. At the same time, you are opposed by the frictional force, which you don't know how much. That's the question itself. Is that after traveling through 12 meters, so maybe right here, then the velocity become 15 meter per second. So it was 2 meter per second. So obviously, by the time when you reach here, let me just call it 2, you still have KE, so I'll just call it KE2, this will be KE1 to just distinguish. At the same time, you would receive energy from this force, 55 Newton. So in this case, this would be like giving you money, right? Giving you energy. So that would be the work done. I will write for 55. And at the same time, the friction will be taking the energy from you. So it will be joining this side instead. So that will be the work done against the friction. And that is all, I think. Right, so that you can construct the equation by saying, again, conservation of energy, you have KE1 plus work done for 55, that one, equals to KE2 plus work done against friction, that one. The rest should be easy. I would firstly write down the equation in general form. So that will be S half mv squared and then fs as well. This f I will put it as lowercase f. This one will be, well, I think that's fine, 55, and then this will be 12 half 5 kg, v would be 15, let's not forget to square, and then this is f, this will be 12 half 5, u was 2 square. Okay, so just solve the equation. So then the frictional force is actually, I find 8.9583 recurrent. So that should be 2 SF, so 9.0 Newton. And that actually makes sense because this should be smaller than the 55, that one, so that eventually the speed would be higher. Otherwise, it will be a deceleration. So now it will still be acceleration.